Good morning. I almost made 8. That's all right. I've got a lot done this morning already. Up and going, moving and grooving, all those cool things, right? I hope you had a good weekend. I had a great weekend. I had a really good time Friday on my birthday. My aunt and uncle came for lunch, and then my sisters and my brother-in-laws came for supper. And I can't eat for a year because I ate everything I wanted because it was my birthday. Anyway, so I had a great weekend, and it's just been really good. Just been a good weekend, and so now we're ready for a new week. And I hope you're already having a good Monday. Remember, Monday is an attitude. You can decide, oh, it's Monday, or you can say it's Monday. It's the day God has made. He's given me another day to rejoice and be glad in Him. Or you can say it's Monday and it's always bad on Monday. It's not always bad on Monday. You can make Monday bad or good. It's just another day of the week, named after a Greek god. Anyway, so I hope and I do hope you had a good weekend, and I do hope you're having a good Monday so far. Don't take on the Monday. It's a Monday attitude today. Just decide that He's your peace. Decide that he's given you grace. He's extended his mercy. It's new this morning, and he doesn't say my mercies are new every morning except on Monday, because I just can't do Mondays either. No, God's never going to say, oh, you could have this, but it's Monday. No, he's not going to do that. So just be glad to know that his grace and mercy and peace and love and everything about him extends even to on Mondays, right? So don't take on that Monday attitude. Take on it's God's day attitude, right? That was just a little side note. Let's see, how long did I go? Okay, not bad. Check out my bookstores. I got more coming. As a matter of fact, this morning I was working on my Peace Out devotional. I've decided to expand it to 40 days instead of just doing 30 or 31 days. So I was researching and going back through and making sure I didn't duplicate any scriptures and all this. I was actually working on it this morning. It's about halfway done, give or take. And so I was actually working on it early this morning. And man, peace is just through the Bible. I mean, God promised people peace in Jeremiah. That's an Old Testament prophet. We don't expect grace and mercy, although it's this common thread all the way from Genesis to Revelation. There's just this common thread of grace, mercy, peace, God's love. It's all the way through there. We just don't always see it, right? And we sometimes we look at the harshness of the prophet's message and forget to see that most of them were preaching, just come back to God. He loves you. He wants to be with you. He wants to fellowship with you. He wants to give you grace and mercy and peace, but you got to accept it, right? And so we fail to see that part because we get so hooked up on the parts where they go, turn from your wicked ways. Yeah, okay, well, we don't want to have to do that. We just want the peace without turning, right? Not going to happen. Anyway, that doesn't even happen in the New Testament. Just to throw that out there. But I was looking and I was just like going through all these different scriptures, and I was like, man, peace has literally been all the way through the Bible. And so I kind of landed in Ephesians 2 where it says, He Himself, Christ, is our peace. And this is, of course, talking about previously and earlier in Ephesians 2 here, he's talking about God who is rich in mercy and great in love, loved us and gave Christ by grace through faith, not of ourselves, but we're made to be in Him by grace you're saved through faith, and not of yourself. It's the gift of God. Just think about all these things God gave us, right? That just blows my mind sometimes. And then it goes on down and talks about Jesus came to take care of all the brokenness. And he himself became the peace between the Jew and the Gentile, is what Paul is talking about here. He broke down the wall of separation and abolished it in his flesh. What was keeping the Jew and the Gentile apart? It's like no more. Jesus died for everybody. He actually became peace for us on every battlefield, on every level, in every sector, in our for our minds, for our bodies, for our spirits, our whole soul, which is our mind, our will, and emotions. He became our peace. He is our peace, and we talked about He's the Prince of Peace, right? We've talked about God as the God of peace. And so just as I was reading back over all these different scriptures, I was just like, I settled here in Ephesians 2, for He Himself is our peace, period. He talks about us sharing peace, sowing peace, making peace, because we look like Him, right? That should be the underlying current. Now we should be we preach Christ, we preach forgiveness of sins, we preach the cross, we come through the cross, the blood of the cross, right? That's where we find that peace, is on this side of the cross. But he extended his peace even in the Old Testament when it's not fathomable. It's a hard word to say for us. Sometimes we can't really fathom that the harshness of the Old Testament has that thread of peace running all the way through it. Jeremiah 29:11, he tells them, this is one of the scriptures we're going to use in the Peace Out book. He says, I have thoughts of peace for you. I'm going to sneeze. He says, I know the thoughts, excuse me, live. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you a future and a hope. And he's talking about Christ even there. I'm going to take care of your future. I'm going to take care of everything you've ever hoped for. And then you don't have to worry anymore because I have thoughts of peace toward you. Old Testament. How much more is peace available on this side of the cross and through the New Testament, right? And so that thread of peace is all the way through. It's there's a scripture in Isaiah that says, and I didn't bring all my notes in here, but there's a scripture in Isaiah that talks about he still upholds his covenant of peace. So not only is he telling us, I'm having peaceful thoughts toward you, I'm thinking about peace, I want to make peace through the cross, and I want to make sure that you understand that you have peace with God, the Creator. But at the same time, he's like, I believe this so much and I'm so into it, that I want to give you a covenant of peace. That means a promise. I'm going to covenant with you for peace. And I don't think there's anything strong enough other than these thoughts appear in our mind that run crazy in our mind sometimes, that can keep us from that covenant of peace. He made a covenant. See, when before God said, let there be light, he knew we were going to mess it up. He knew Adam and Eve were going to sin. He already knew it. He knew we would be sitting here in 2022, August 8th, 2022, talking about his peace. So before he said, let there be light, he said, you know what, they're going to mess it up, but I want them to be able to get back to me. So let's make peace. Let me give them my peace. Let me extend my grace. Let me extend my mercy. Let me extend myself. And let's just fix it before it gets broken. He didn't go blindly into the creation story as we see it in Genesis and say, I'm going to create everything. Oh my gosh, you guys messed it all up. Now what am I going to do? No, he knew Adam and Eve were going to fail. He sees our shortcomings too. He sees all mine, and I got a lot of them. I got a long list. He probably just sits there and shakes his head sometimes, right? He knew they were going to mess up, but he also knew there was going to be an Abraham that was going to seek him. There was going to be a Noah who chose to live righteous before he even had a Bible or the law. There was going to be a David who was going to seek him with his whole heart. There was going to be a Solomon who was full of wisdom. There was going to be a Daniel and 3 Hebrew children that said, oh, we're still going to trust God. We don't care if you throw us in a lion's den. We don't care if you throw us in a fire. We don't care what this life brings. We're still going to trust God. He looked down through time and he saw in 2022 that there's going to be some people in the middle of a pandemic going, God, we got to have your peace because this world is really messed up. And so he said, let me just fix it before it gets broken. So before he said, let there be light, he had a plan. Nothing caught him off guard. He didn't say, a pandemic? Who planned a pandemic? How come nobody told me they planned a pandemic? Inflation? Nobody told me. No, he just said, let me just give you my peace for eternity. And you know what? It hasn't run out in 2022, nor has his grace or his mercy or his love, his compassion and passion for us. Remember my favorite scripture in the old New Living Translation. They changed it in the New Living, so I will not buy New Living. But the old New Living in Exodus 34:14 says, he is a God who is passionate about a relationship with his people. So he made sure that there was a way that relationship could be restored, even though Adam and Eve were going to break it. It had to have broken his heart to kick them out of the garden. We don't look at that part of the story because we don't see God as an emotional being. We think he's just God on the throne. And yet we see him interacting with Paul and telling him, go over here, go over there, go tell my people, go tell them I love them, right? He sent Christ. We see him interacting with David. David would go to him and go, okay, do I go into battle or not? And God would say, go conquer, or nope, stay home this time. He wants to interact with our daily lives, and all it takes is a prayer. All it takes is a, hey God, That acknowledging that he's there, he's bigger than you, he's got all the peace you need, he's got all the grace you need, he's got all the mercy you need, he's got all the love you need, he's got all those you need, all wrapped up in one, just waiting for you to just tap into it by saying, "Hey God, hey Father, hey Creator, guess what? I wanna talk to you. I want a relationship with you." That thrills him when we just stop for a minute and go, "Hey, God's really there, and he's really here too. He's not just up there, he is here too. He is our peace." Peace out, you guys. I hope I said something to help you this morning. I hope I gave you something to think about today, too. That's awesome. I love to make you think. Anyway, that teacher part, right? You want to do math next? No, I'm kidding. Have a great day. Peace out. I'll see you tomorrow.